Sagar bhai, welcome to Dallas, Arlington for the Checkmate India versus USA match. First of all, please let us know your thoughts that when you first came to know about this match.
First of all, I'm very shocked right now what's happening. I'm being interviewed by ChessBase India. I never really imagined that this would ever happen. I also remember so many media days we were planning together in freestyle chess, and now here I am entering in to do the interviews. So it's very funny. Uh, I remember that Salim came to me in January 2025 and spoke to me about this event that was just brewing up during Vaikanze. And he mentioned if Gukesh and Arjun would play and so on. And I introduced, I told Gukesh and I introduced Salim to them. And at that point, then he asked if Divya would be interested to play and so on. And there was no plan of a YouTuber board or anything of that sort. So I thought, okay, India USA, nice match. And then he wrote one fine day saying like, would you like to play? And I was like, okay, come on, is it even something that I should indulge in? Because it was like 7 years since I played my last rated game. So I just wrote somehow yes. Some of the best things in life happen, unplanned. Yes. And so I just said yes, and that's how the date came closer. And 4th of October is just tomorrow now, where you get to play this India versus USA match. I'm super excited for it. So that's how it happened.
Right, and we have been getting some sneak peeks into what you have been doing for this match. We saw you very dedicatedly putting efforts and a lot at stake because you are facing Levy. So tell us about your opponent. Like all your professional life, you have been preparing for your opponent, right? Like all chess players do. If you want to share with us what kind of training you did to play against Levy.
So I didn't know like till Grand Swiss was going on how deeply I would be preparing, because there was so much to do, one event after another, and Grand Swiss was taking like all of our time, commentary, then video edits and so on. But once Grand Swiss ended, which was roughly 15th of September, there were like 15 days, and the choice was to sort of prepare on my own or just go and jump into some tournaments. And I enrolled myself in 2 tournaments. Wow. Local events. One of the things that I made myself ready was to take in losses, because I think if you are afraid of losses, it's very difficult to jump in. Although my rating is still very high, because it's I was the top seed in one of the event and second seed in the other. If I went with that mindset that I'm the top seed, I would have been heartbroken. So my first training was that if I lose, it's okay. And so I went there, I played, I had practice games, I enjoyed preparing, I enjoyed losing, because I think somewhere the losses are not as painful as they were before. I don't know if it is because chess means something else to me, or because in all these years of coverage, I have seen so many people losing so many critical games. Like imagine candidate spot is at stake and someone blunders, or world championship contender blunders and doesn't make it. So I realized like this is just part of chess, to make blunders. Just that top players do it in a different way and weaker players do it differently. So that is how I think I was able to do more. Even now, since I'm here, I have been trying to solve tactics, just play with whoever is interested in playing. For example, Divya was a bit keen on playing yesterday, and I played with her. She crushed me, but it was good fun. Then I played with Gukesh. I didn't play a game, but we discussed today morning at breakfast. Arjun was there and we solved some tactics together. Wow. So it's a new feeling where earlier they would talk to me as someone who is from media or ChessBase India, or let's say a friend, but now as a chess player. So it's nice. I had some ideas which I wanted to discuss. So with Gukesh, it was a different conversation. Yeah, I'm just super lucky. I entered into the hall and I saw those posters up there, and I was thinking to myself, like, Grenke Open, we saw this huge thing of Magnus, Fabi, Arjun, and so on. And here, so this is surreal actually for me.
Tell us about the process. You seem very like delighted through the process that you have gone through. Can we get some expectations of you coming back to professional chess?
I don't know. I think overall, earlier, like when people would ask me, would you like to become a GM? I would think about the time that I would invest in chess, and perhaps it would take away the time from doing work for, let's say, ChessBase India, media, and so on. But in the last 15 days, whenever I was working on chess, I never really felt that it was time being taken away from something. I just enjoyed it. So, tomorrow is the game. Once it's over, I should wake up on 5th and see that if I feel like still practicing, still playing, just enjoy. If I feel that, I don't think it's impossible that I could consider playing bigger tournaments, like longer duration, and that would be a great comeback to chess for myself. I know that it wouldn't matter much to the chess world as such. I mean, becoming a GM at the age of 35, 36, 37 is not a big thing. But for me personally, it's about whether I can play better than what I was playing before. I clearly remember when I was a professional player, I used to play chess with a certain level. I had a certain opening repertoire. I had certain way of looking at chess, and I'm actually seeing that I look at chess a little differently now. So that is a very interesting process for me, and I want to continue that.
Yeah, as you mentioned that now you are at a stage in life where you do not have specific goals, and also the pressure of becoming something is almost out of your head, so you can actually enjoy the game and enjoy the process, right?
I think the only pressure is of time, which was earlier that if there's so much work to do, then, but I guess that's also not true, because you see, even though I'm not doing anything for last, let's say, few days, everything continues. There are amazing team members of ChessBase India who are working, who are making sure that that it runs. So that's also amazing. It also would lead to something new for the company itself, if I started to dedicate more time to chess. Maybe it's worth trying, I think, for all of us.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing that. It was very nice that you took an approach of not to prepare against your opponent, but to prepare as a whole. So that's a wholesome approach.
Because also for Levy, it's just a 20-minute game. So how much can you prepare against specifically him? He can just come tomorrow and play any random move, surprise. At the same time, he's amazing at speed chess. He has a very good rating on chess.com. He plays Title Tuesdays and all these events. So it's clear that he is in touch. He's very good at speed chess. So just focusing on this one game would put too much pressure. Right. There's not enough time. Right. Like if you had like few months, I can work on that specific, even that would create too much pressure. But I think it's just like this game is so much interesting for me personally, because there's a crowd. I'm drawn back to deathmatch that we organized between Anish Vidit, Arjun, Gukesh, and now this event. So would be nice to be on the other side.
Right. And tell us about what are your thoughts about the format of the tournament. Are you like happy with the format?
Yeah, I have no particular expectations. I just come here as a blank slate. I was talking to Arjun and Gukesh and telling them that, and even Divya, that I'm the most serious player here. I'm taking this event very seriously. While for them it's one event that is in between the World Cup and Grand Swiss and so on. But for me, it's like one event in many years. So yeah, I like the format. I think it's very exciting for the viewers. They have made some very interesting changes. The clock is different. They have Tag Heuer as the sponsor, which is, I think, a big thing for chess.
Absolutely.
To get a Swiss watchmaker.
Yes.
because we've been trying to get so many sponsors on board for chess, and it's so difficult.
Yes.
How do you make it valuable for a sponsor? Even if you look at this T-shirt right now, you will see Westbridge here. I can't tell you how happy I am. Yeah, Westbridge is a company that's worked intensely for Indian chess. The Westbridge Anand Chess Academy, Gukesh is sponsor, Vaishali is sponsor,
Yes.
and today I have my jersey has it here, and also there are many more sponsors. If you look behind, they have
ICC, yes.
chessclub.com, ICC. So all of this very interesting developments for chess.
Yeah.
I hope that Checkmate, this entire initiative succeeds. Salim, who is the guy behind it, is a very hardworking person, very genuine person. I got to know him in Morocco when I went there for the Casablanca chess variant. So from there I've seen him, and also Hari Raghavan, who is someone whom I met at the candidates in 2024, who helped the Indian chess community a lot. He's also part of this, I think, as an investor and so on. So I hope that this grows into something very big.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sagar bhai, for sharing those thoughts. We now enter into a different segment where we ask you some quick fire questions, which are like to lighten the mood and also to know a little bit more about your chess journey. Okay. So we start by what was your first chess book?
Oh, my first chess book was Praful Zaveri's chess course, I believe. It's one of the books which many Indians, or at least people living in Mumbai, would read. I remember one more book because I went to a tournament in Saharanpur in UP, and there was a book stall, and my coach said, pick up whatever book you want, Mahesh sir. And I went there and I picked up Capablanca's book by Harry Golombek. And I think it was a defining moment. We don't realize that book, if I had picked up Alekhine's book, perhaps I would have learned to attack better. But I picked up Capablanca's book and studied all the games, and perhaps that sort of helped me become a little bit more positional in nature.
Wow. So both the books are very important to you as the first book.
Yeah.
Okay. First opening that you learned?
First opening I learned is very funny, because generally you learn e4, e5 and stuff like that. But because when I started playing chess, the national under 12 championship was going to be happening in Chennai, and my coach said, if you go there and play e4, you will get crushed. So what you should do is play knight f3, g3, bishop g2 and castle, make a home for your king, and then at least you won't lose in first 20 moves. So that was, I remember my first opening. I think not a very wise thing to do, because it kind of made me into a more closed positional player, which can anyway happen later. First you should play open games. But yeah, I learned that way.
Okay. First win. How did you win your first game? Do you remember?
It must be against my dad.
No, I like a professional game.
Professional.
Like competitive game.
If I think it should go back to if it is this national championship where I went, I lost my first 4 rounds.
Okay.
And it was very sad, because every day you go there, you lose. You have gone out from Mumbai to Chennai, and then I remember every evening after the game was over, the coach would analyze the game, and you have your score sheet. And the 4th loss that I had was so embarrassing, because I blundered a piece and so on, that I intentionally misplaced my score sheet. So then when the coach said, let's see your game, I was like, oh, I don't know where my score sheet is. So I think 5th round was my first win. I don't remember how it happened, but I'm pretty sure I was on cloud 9. I was super happy to win it.
So was this did the game end as a checkmate, or
I'm pretty sure it must have ended as a checkmate, maybe on the last board of the tournament that I must have played.
Amazing. Okay. First memorable tournament win?
Has to be in the Ghatkopar Chess Association tournament that were held. They used to have it in a school called Gurukul, and I would there was a section and I got a medal, and 50 rupees as the prize.
Wow.
So yeah, that should
Which
be.
year was it?
I think it should be 2001 or
2001.
2. Yeah.
Okay, that
when
brings
I
us
was
to the
12 years old maybe.
Okay, 12 years. Nice. And that brings us to the next question. Do you remember how you used your first prize money to buy something?
Yeah, I think in general I used to just give all the money I would win to my parents. But I do remember my dad going to this Strand bookstall, which was in Mumbai, would have chess books and would bring something for me. And two things he brought are very vividly in my mind. One was a chess clock, because he brought home a chess clock and we used to play in our living room with each other. And that day he brought a chess clock. And we were like, wow, now we can play with a chess clock. So, we started making moves and pressing the clock. It was this analog clock, not the digital one.
Okay.
And the second was a book called Attack and Defense by Mark Doretsky. He brought it. I was like, wow, let me open. I didn't understand a single word because Mark Doretsky is like for very strong players.
Yes.
And I think that book was clearly out of my range or league, but he kept it in the bookshelf, and then later it became so useful when I became stronger. So a very nice gift by my dad.
Right. First chess player you have known?
First chess player I have known, maybe world class player.
Yeah.
I think the first time I remember just being 12 years old, going to Commonwealth Championship in Mumbai, which was held, and entering in, and Koneru Hampi was giving a simul.
Oh.
At that point, she was, what she's today. It's like timeless, yeah. It's been 23 years since then, and she's still one of the best in the world. So I went there and I saw her giving a simul, and I was very impressed.
Wow, what a memory.
Yeah.
What a memory.
Yeah, also another memory in that tournament was on top board, Dibendu Barua playing against a Chinese player, and Barua, the Chinese player playing e4, Barua playing e6, and then the Chinese player closing his eyes and sitting for like 15-20 minutes and not making a move, and I was like, what the hell is happening? And then he plays queen e2, like brings his queen out, and yeah, very vivid. You can imagine, like, it's been more than 20 years. I still remember that moment because I'm watching there thinking, oh my god, what's happening?
Wow. First international trip as a chess player?
Malaysia. I went there to play the Dato Tan Open. I was 2200 rated. I remember my first win was in the first round itself. I was playing a lower rated. I was very happy. But clearly the best memory from that trip was my first win against a grandmaster. It was against Ziaur Rahman, who is unfortunately no more alive. But what a game that was for me. I was losing. He made a blunder. I checkmated him. I ran to the washroom pumping my fists. I called Amruta, who was my new just girlfriend, like 3 months ago. I told her I won using international roaming cost. But I think it changed a huge thing. It made a huge thing in my life, because to beat a GM is like a breakthrough. You beat someone whom you aspire to become someday. And I got $100 because of that, because that tournament had like whoever beats a GM who is not a GM gets $100.
Wow.
So I have that note, which is priceless. But even if
you
look
have that
at
note, you have not spent
no,
it?
I have written there my first win against GM. It's at my home.
Oh.
And if it was at that point 50 rupees for $1, now it's 85. So also good investment.
Yes. Okay, we like there can be many influences, but who actually introduced you to the world of chess? Was it your father or
Yes,
somebody
my
else?
dad.
Do you remember the first interaction when you came to know what chess is?
I think he just brought out the chess set from somewhere. He was influenced by the Fischer-Spassky match in 1972 when he was 12 years old. And when I was 12 or maybe 10, he brought out this chess set and said, do you want to learn and play? And I do remember that my first learning of chess was not Indian chess, because there's something called as Chinese chess, which is very famous in China. My uncle is Chinese. You know, my cousin's sister is married to a Chinese nationality person, and he gave me Chinese chess. So I learned Chinese chess before our standard chess, and I was good at Chinese chess. I used to teach everyone, but then at some point, my dad taught me this chess, which I didn't like so much because he was better at it. But somehow I think the fact that I could learn it and improve at it was very exciting.
So which year was it? How old were you when you got into
Around
it?
2000 or 2001. I was 10, 11 years old.
So you as most Indian kids, you used to play cricket.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cricket.
Suddenly one day your father is saying that.
Yeah, in general we would play something like carom or something at home,
Yeah.
and then he brought out the chess board.
Okay.
It's interesting that I learned chess quite late by today's standards. Maybe I was never meant to be like this prodigious youngster who would win, a grandmaster title at 12 or IM at 10. It all happened very slow in my life.
Right. And which was your first proper chessboard that you have bought or been gifted, or your favorite chessboard?
There are so many chessboards over my journey of chess. One chessboard that I got was, of course, the standard chessboard that you get a roll label. It was given to me by a friend with chess pieces that are much more. They are made up of like these. Nowadays, the plastic is such, it's not that high quality. Yeah, like earlier, it was like a mold.
Okay.
So, what would happen is that the more you play, the more chipped the pieces would be.
Oh.
So after a point, your knight would like this pointed thing would become like this, and because as a young kid you want to like smash the pieces and all. So my first chess set was this, given to me by a friend who was a chess player. I think the most memorable one has to be our wedding gift by one of our family members, Meghna and Gaurav, who gave us a chess set in 2014. It was from the House of Staunton.
Oh.
It is a beautiful chess set, maybe worth $1,000 or something, and we would put it in. Amruta and I put it in our office, where we would practice on it for me. I've made many videos with it as well.
Yes. Thank you, Sagar, for enlightening this session, because these questions were very written, put together with a lot of thought, and you actually proved that these questions are worth
Yeah,
it.
I mean, in general, I enjoyed talking on the other side. I hope that very soon I'll be on that side once again.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sagar. All the very best for tomorrow.
Thank you.
And we wish you all the luck.
Yeah, thank you so much.